What's up? We're rolling in inside. 2-3, this is Hitman 2-2.
Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man, and man can...
Ladies, gentlemen, kings, queens, everyone in between and everyone in New Orleans, this is Cobra, and today we're going to be talking a bit about Fallout. So, to start off, Fallout really holds a special place in my heart. Fallout 3 alone is my second favorite game of all time when I first discovered it when I was 13. It's been 8 years now. I'm 21, and I see now there has been a bit of a resurgence with the Fallout franchise, with the advent of the Fallout show, given to you by Amazon Prime. I'm not sponsored, so I'm just gonna go and keep things simple. I have a really bad habit of rambling, if any of you know, so I'm just gonna break it down to, we're gonna talk about the story, the characters, the lore, and my impressions. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So to start off, the Fallout TV show, I should obviously iterate. Spoilers ahead. Sorry, I do not have a script writing. I did not write a script for this. I am literally just freeballing this right now. So to start off with the story, it is a simple enough story. 3 protagonists, 1 head, 1 location. Everyone has a different motive with it. And a thing I should point out, I can't remember who said it, but one person said in a TikTok that all 3 of the protagonists actually represent a certain type of character, being the good, the bad, and the neutral in each. If they were to actually, like go through like a playthrough of the games, and I was like, okay, you know what, I like that. So it's a very simple enough story, and it just and most of the conflict basically involves them getting sidetracked. You know what? I should best let Mr. Ghoul, or should I say Mr. Howard, explain it himself.
Where are we going? What about the head? I need the head to get my dad back.
Yeah, well, the Wasteland's got its own golden receiver.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Next, I like to go and talk about the characters. The characters and the cast is absolutely phenomenal. All of them played their roles just absolutely perfectly. I think, personally, my favorite character is Maximus, mainly because the Brotherhood of Steel is my favorite faction out of all of the Fallout games, ad Victorium. And but even then, I still couldn't help but absolutely love Lucy and the Ghoul, because they all give some kind of a different point of view, with the Ghoul being somewhat, I like to say, nihilistic or pessimistic, but at the same time he kind of just rides with it. With Lucy being just the absolute polar opposite, where she's very chipper and naive. You could even say a bit uppity, but at the same time, uppity is also described as arrogant. But I wouldn't really say she's arrogant, but it just feels like that uppity just feels, very chipper, and obviously has a very high moral standing. Other characters to note is honestly like Lucy's family in general, with Hank, who is actually who's the actor Kyle MacLachlan, actually surprised me a lot, because it turns out he was actually Paul Atreides from the original 1984 Dune, in which I actually have, and it was like, okay, so it's like worlds collide kind of thing, because it was around the same time that I was also really getting into Dune, or getting back into it again after watching Dune 2. Phenomenal movie, by the way. But I don't want to get sidetracked. So if you want me to go and make a review on Dune, personally I doubt it. But hey, if the masses want what they want, maybe the masses will get what they get. What else? Also, oh yeah, and obviously there is also Norm, Norm, despite him being a side character, they say that some people are saying is like a kind of like a fourth protagonist, but I like how he really goes into like the whole like super sleuth kind of ideal of trying to go and like find out the secrets of their vault, and it's like, okay, you know, it's obviously it's Vault-Tec, so nothing's going on right, and you know they live in a vault, so obviously nothing is gonna go right. But I love just how well done of a character Norm, where despite him being like you wouldn't expect him to be doing this stuff because you know he's pessimistic and he's scrawny, but he is arguably, I think, one of the bravest, if not the bravest, of the cast. You know, because it's like, personally, I think that it takes a lot of balls trying to go and like find out the secret, knowing that it will get you in trouble. You know, it could be a little bit more of a minimalistic sense, but you never know with Vault-Tec. So that is gonna be it for the characters. I also, other notable side characters. Obviously, there was Barb, who is Cooper Howard's wife. Despite her being like kind of like here and there, it feels like her around like the late stages of the season just absolutely just went home on everything. Whereas like, you know, she's kind of like the middle woman between Cooper and Vault-Tec. But my absolute favorite part of it was at the end when she mentioned the great line, the very phrase that that is always spoken throughout the games: war never changes. And the way it was delivered and the context around it, it was just absolutely a perfect setup. It was just absolutely amazing, and how it all went down. It was just perfect. Who else to know? Oh, and lastly, a very notable character is Thaddeus, who is like, what do you call it? Mainly, I was just surprised to go and see him because the actor Johnny Pemberton is actually in another one of my most favorite movies of all time, 21 Jump Street, where he played as Delroy, who worked on the side with Brad McQuaid during their case in Sagan High. So I was just absolutely amazed to go and see him. I was like, oh my god! I was going like, oh my god! It's him from 21 Jump Street. It was absolutely perfect. And he's also a pretty funny character too. It's like I loved every scene with him. So, but really, overall, the entire cast did an absolutely phenomenal job with their roles, and it was just and personally, I think that the characters make the movie. I feel like you can't really have a good movie without good characters, and I think that the cast absolutely just knocked it out of the park with this one. Next, I'd like to go and talk a bit about the lore. So, typically, or at least it's infamously known, video games for a long time didn't have very good adaptations, especially when it comes to not respecting the lore. And I was just absolutely amazed to find out that the show, like the Fallout show, absolutely respected the lore, and even built on top of it, as aforementionedly, it mentioned lots of aspects of the pre-war time from the perspective of Cooper Howard. And it just gave more insight that the games actually, that the games didn't give, or at least from that I don't. And at the very least, I think it's also the first time since ever, and I'm not going to really include Fallout 4 because it's like, you really just like sit there for like 30 minutes and then move on. But this one actually showed lots of aspects of life from the pre-war time. We even got to go and meet the original guy that voiced Codsworth, or like the Mr. Handys in the show. It's like, so that's how it happened. So I loved how they really expanded upon it and made it a very integral part of the story. So there's that. Personally, I was just really impressed by how how it managed to go and really make it also feel like a proper installment of the show as well, instead of being a straight adaptation. Because the other thing is that Fallout, it never really was like a very linear story. More like focusing on one protagonist, then another one later on. But this one, this one, while it does have established protagonists, really helped make its own, and it really made it also feel like a proper installation of the franchise. And yeah. Also, lastly, there's kind of like a side note kind of thing. I also love the music that they did. It's like a little it also got me back into listening to lots of the songs from like the video games radio broadcast, because it's like, little do you actually find yourself, or at least did I find myself singing along to lots of the songs, because me, it's like, you know, it's like I would be listening a lot to the Fallout radios, and it's like, okay, you know, while playing, and I would casually start singing because they're just that damn good. And I say, it's like, okay, you know, there may have been like some that are better than others, but overall, I think that the overall soundtrack or playlist that they had for the Fallout show was absolutely stacked, with some of my favorites such as Orange Colored Sky, I'm Tickled Pink, Into Each Life Some Rain Must Fall, and some other ones. And I just hope that when they make Season 2, they're gonna add some more of New Vegas' tracks, because they just gotta. Lastly, is my overall impressions. Overall, for 8 hours, which I thought was like really long, since I heard that it's like each episode is like about an hour or so, it felt surprisingly quick. So the pacing was just great, and despite the fact that it was three protagonists, which I felt like it was like, okay, this could be a little shoddy. I don't know how they could have done it well, but they absolutely did. So it was just, with the way and how the show was paced, and going along with the story, mixed with just great characters, adding on to the lore that hasn't been established or mentioned as much compared to the games, just made Fallout feel like an absolutely phenomenal piece. And with Season 2 being a massive possibility of coming, it just makes me absolutely excited to go and see more, because that's exactly how I felt. Especially after seeing the ending with, seeing it's like the ruins of New Vegas, and it's like, oh, God, they gotta, I know that they gotta be doing something good with this, because it's like, this, it just makes me want more, and I'm absolutely excited to see what they're gonna do with Season 2. Personally, my only hopes is, I don't know if it could be too fan servicey, but I just hope that they could, be able to implement some more, of the lore, I just hope that they could be able to go and implement some more of the lore as kind of like fan service from Fallout New Vegas. In fact, personally, my main hope for Season 2, I just hope that we could be able to go and see Raul de Ayala, because he's my favorite protagonist, companion to have in Fallout New Vegas, and also because he's voiced by my favorite actor, Danny Trejo, and I just absolutely hope that he could be able to go and reprise his role there. It's like, I'd be so stoked to see that. So, overall, my rating that I'm gonna give Fallout New Vegas, I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I see basically no fault in the show. You know, maybe there could be something here and there, but I was just absolutely entertained. That I personally saw no fault. I heard some criticisms saying that the Brotherhood of Steel could have been a bit more involved instead of just being sidelined, but I feel like that they could develop that more in Season 2. And personally, I can understand that, you know, it's like, you know, they have so much more to go and develop, so I feel like that it's like it's best to just kind of let them cook and see where this is going. So, yeah, that's overall my impressions. And actually, let's just give it a 10 out. Let's just give it a 10 out of 10. Let's meet in the middle. 9.5 out of 10. I really see. It was just. Sorry, I'm like gushing a lot about this show, but overall, it was just there. Sorry, I don't know how to go and properly say it. I just really like it. The only part I really didn't like was when Maximus got attacked by rad roaches, and it's mainly a fear of mine because I have although undiagnosed, I have a massive phobia of cockroaches. So him being attacked by rad roaches is like, yeah, no, I didn't want to watch that. Like, and it's really bad to the point that it's really bad to the point too that it's like every time I start shrieking every time I play the game, and then I get attacked by a rad roach. And even in other forms of media, like for example, like one time my teacher mentioned the metamorphosis, and then I started looking it up, and then I physically started to gag by the premise of the story. And it's like, yeah, I absolutely couldn't stand it. Either way, that's more of like a personal thing, but it was the only part I really didn't like out of the show. But overall, absolutely phenomenal show. You should go watch it. But I've extended this review long enough with my rambling, so ladies, gentlemen, kings, queens, everyone in between and everyone in New Orleans, this is Cobra out.